up here, and I know Mike and Marissa would like their fans to be pretty close and personal tonight. My name is Sally Meisenheimer. I'm part of the Vinspire gang, and we welcome you if you haven't been here before. We'd love to get you on our email list. We're so thankful that you came. And I'm going to just turn it over. This is Courtney Meisenheimer. She's my daughter-in-law. And Mike and Marissa, a lot of you probably have a share already with this amazing CSA. And we're hoping that those of you that don't will just sign up right away. Right? We'll be signing people up as they leave. So go ahead, Court. Thanks for coming.
All right. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome to Old Soul. Excited to see lots of familiar faces and some new faces, so let's jump right into it. Like Sally said, I'm Courtney Meisenheimer, going to be asking these wonderful folks some questions today and learning a little bit more about North Point Community Farm. And just wanted to sort of start off by sharing a little bit of my own association and experience. I think I've been a CSA member since the beginning, 2022. Yep. And my kids are the biggest fans of them. They're like part of the Marissa and Mike fan club. And I think I just remember meeting you both for the first time and just being struck by how incredibly passionate you both are about farming and starting this farm in our community. But also that's so balanced by how incredibly lighthearted and fun and welcoming you both are. So I'm really excited for everybody to get to know them some more and hear some fun stories tonight. So we're going to kick it off. You guys want to say hi?
Thanks so much for coming. My name is Mike Champagne.
My name is Marissa.
All right. Okay, we're going to dig.
All of you already know.
We're jumping right in. Jumping right into tonight, I want to know for both of you, what is the vegetable that started it all?
So most of you know that I grew up in Brooklyn, and my walk to the subway to get to high school every day went through the Borough Hall Farmers Market, and one day I saw a sign for something called dinosaur kale, and I was on a real kick of being into dinosaurs, and was like, what is this? It's really cool. We call it Tuscan kale, but had to buy some and figure out how to cook it, and I would say that was the beginning.
Yeah, we grew a lot of dino kale. But I would say that garlic was actually the true beginning of our farm, because you have to plant it in the fall and it overwinters and sprouts this time of year. So we moved to Plattsburgh, or we didn't even move here yet. We were coming here every weekend and working and building a greenhouse and planting garlic, and that was kind of the first vegetable that started the farm.
Also, the garlic planter was the first implement.
Yeah.
If you know about farming, it's kind of a really stupid first purchase. But we just fell in love with it, and it's some really eccentric, antique French implement. If it breaks, we'll never be able to fix it.
Is there Mike, a specific vegetable for you as a young person growing up that you were like, wow, this is changing the game for me. I wanna know how to grow that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it started with the avocados, and I immediately knew that I was not going to be able to grow those. I was working at a grocery store, a health food store at the time, eating a lot of avocados, and got curious about vegetables. The one vegetable that got me curious was frisee, which is very esoteric vegetable that we're actually growing this year, which hopefully all of you guys enjoy.
Who here has tried frisee? All right. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So look out for that in about 6 weeks. So yeah, it was just.
Yeah, what is frisee?
It's a type of lettuce, but it's a little more bitter. You can cook with it, or you can eat it fresh.
It's very lacy. Very,
yes.
Yeah.
Very sea-like. You'd think it would be growing under the ocean, but it doesn't.
you want to know more, check out Mike and Marissa's farm. All right, so we've got like some vegetables that inspired you maybe to learn more about farming or want to learn more. Like, what's your journey to getting here to Plattsburgh? Like, how did the two of you get to know each other? How did you meet? How did this all kind of start?
Is it cool if I don't use the microphone? Can everyone hear me?
Oh, you need to use it.
I need to use it? Okay.
Sorry.
A lot of rules. It all began, what's the question again? Sorry.
Yeah. I think you should just keep going. It all began.
Is that the question?
Yeah, where did it all begin?
We were both farming in the Hudson Valley and working at neighboring farms. And there was a brewery in between both of those farms. And they had farmers' night on Wednesday. So, but the farmers would descend on the brewery, and it was kind of like a mingling time. And as a farmer in the middle of July, all you talk about is farming. And none of our employees are here, but they can attest to that. And it's just, oh yeah, Trevor, sorry.
And Jeff.
And Jeff, there he is. You can attest that all you do is talk about farming and your woes all summer long. So that was like how we first started becoming friends. And there was a lot of iterations of our farm at the beginning, a lot of people involved, and we slowly weeded them out. Slowly started to make this plan. But I think we started in 2018?
Yeah.
And where were you guys when you were meeting? I don't know if you talked a little bit about. You weren't in Plattsburgh.
No. You said that there was just farmers' night. I feel like we kind of started farmers' night.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I remember just showing up to the brewery and being absolutely filthy, and you also being pretty filthy, and then us just finding each other, and then getting all of our coworkers to also come on Wednesdays, and kind of the beginning of it all. But this was all in the Hudson Valley, about 3.5 hours south of here, which is a really special place to be a young farmer because there's about 20 farms within a 30-minute drive. So, and most of them had young people working at them, learning how to farm, so everyone could work at different farms and be friends and just form a really great tight-knit community.
What was the brewery?
Suarez Family Brewery.
Nice. So you talked about like how you started out with kind of a big group of people all daydreaming about this farm. Like at that point, was the farm going to be in Hudson?
I don't know if we knew where the farm was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that point we had no idea. We knew that we wanted to start our own farm at that point, but we didn't know where or how. And I think we were looking around Hudson and like Albany County area, just kind of in the realm of the capital region. But Plattsburgh was not on the map at that point.
Never is.
Never.
I will say that for like at least a solid year of like planning our farm, it like felt fake. Like it was just an exercise more than anything that would become tangible. And Mike was very adamant from the very beginning that we would never be in Plattsburgh. And I remember like the first time we came here just being so confused, like why would you say we would never be in Plattsburgh? Like this just makes so much sense because what we really wanted was to find a population center that didn't have a vegetable farm, that had enough like services and people and not to be like totally in the middle of nowhere, but to really be able to build a community in a place that didn't already have what we were offering.
So you were really into the idea of Plattsburgh. Mike was not.
I definitely came around. I love this place. I grew up here. I needed to grow up. I needed to grow up.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Let's talk more about that.
Yeah.
Say more on that.
Yeah, no comment.
So what was that transition like for you guys, and how did you get to working working in this big group of dreamers into just the two of you, and why does that work, working with each other in this situation?
Well, I just want to give a special shout out to Bruce, who's sitting over there. Our farm would not be possible without him. We rent land from him, and it was really like the first time that we visited that property that we were like, okay, yes, Plattsburgh, it's checking all the boxes, and this place is amazing. And I think by then we had a little bit of a taste of just how intricate and how many decisions to make it would all be to start a business, and it just being the two of us already felt very overwhelming, so it was pretty hard to imagine a bigger group of people. And it oddly made sense for me to move to Plattsburgh because I think most of you know this, but my dad's from Montreal and I went to college at McGill, so even though I am from Brooklyn and my family's there, this is very far away, still in New York State, still on I-87, close to some family and good friends. So that was very grounding, and it's a beautiful place. So,
I want to know a little bit more about when you got to that farm, when you got to Bruce's land, and how do people who farm look at what I would see as just this big open patch of grass and be
Ideal.
this is a good spot. Why is it good, here, and what are you looking for, and what's good about this place that you built your farm on?
It's good to see things growing on the place where you might farm, first of all. But typically you're looking for flat-ish land. We got some bumps, not hills, but and you typically dig a hole and you just see what the soil looks like. And then you go on a certain website that'll tell you the soil type, and you can really get into the weeds with that, with what kind of crops will grow best and yada yada yada. So when we got there, we'd done our homework. We knew it was this farm is fertile, and it's been farmed by very it had been farmed by professional farmers for decades and decades. So we were yeah, this looks fertile. The grass was super green. There was dandelions everywhere. It was very, very pretty. And
Dandelions is specifically good sign.
Yes and no. I don't know. Yeah, dandelions are nice. And having a connection with the Pellerins really helped out, and a connection to Plattsburgh also really helped out.
Mike and Bruce, when was the last time before North Point that farm was actively cultivated?
I think the spring before.
What was it?
John Rolfe was cutting hay on part of it and growing corn in there. Bubbins.
Bubbins farm, yeah. That, I'll speak just a little bit. So I didn't really want to do that, but
Do you want to come up to the
I can't help
stage?
myself because there's a family heritage.
Get this guy on the stage.
That's okay. Well, you're speaking to my heart, because the farm, I've been working in the farming community pretty much all my life. I was born near a farm, my grandfather. So my grandfather and his brother bought that farm back in the 30s, and so there's family heritage there. And Michael's he's part of our crew, part of our family. So
The fourth brother.
Yeah, and Reinhardt as well, and there's a couple others in there too that came.
Some stragglers.
David, you still owe me some lunch money, so
Yeah.
but it's all good. Yeah, so for me, it was a natural fit for me to because Mike, when they approached me, I was like, yeah, this is great. The whole thing is just, I I've been approached by solar companies, other people wanting to buy the land for, you know, solar fields and all that, and I've been like, no way, that's not where this needs to be or go right now, and so it's a natural fit and I'm really excited. I can see them growing and enjoying it, and it makes me happy to be part of it. So I'm behind them.
Thanks, Bruce.
I want to know a little bit more about kind of this working relationship, and you're this dynamic farming duo, and we see both of you at CSA Pickup, we see both of you at the farm, in the fields, in the office, but like tell us a little bit more about why you guys work well together. Kind of does one person take on a specific amount of work over the other? Do you have strengths that you play to? Like how does that work?
Well, many people are surprised to learn that before starting a farm, Mike and I had never worked together before. Even though we worked at different farms near each other, it just never really happened. And I think that was really a strength going into it. We both had lots of different experience, and because of that, we were able to kind of cherry pick each other's strengths to bring them together. I mean, most of farming is designing systems, and so we had kind of double the exposure given that we had never worked in the same place. I was working on like larger scale farms and had some farm bookkeeping work, and Mike was in more of the nitty gritty of greenhouse and cut greens and a lot of particulars that I hadn't been exposed to. And so that was kind of like the foundation of our dynamic, was like there was stuff that I knew better, like mechanical cultivation, that he knew better, like greenhouse production, and just kind of like teaching each other and learning our systems was the beginning of it. I was really lucky that I had the foresight to know that I would need to know about office work, even though it's not what any farmer wants to have to do. So I was working, my last job before we started North Point was working at a 2,000-acre grain farm owned by the Rockefeller family, and I worked part-time in the office, part-time in the field, and got to learn how to do all their bookkeeping. So that was a huge strength. And their tractors were big enough that they all had auto steer, and that gave me time to write our business plans.
As in you wrote that on the tractor?
Yes, because you don't have to touch the steering wheel. You just set it all up on the computer, and it goes, and you watch over it, and you type. Yeah.
And that was in between doing the long trail too. She hiked the long trail before we started.
Wow. And Mike, what about you? What's kind of where do you see yourself in terms of on the farm and your role?
Yeah, I mean, like she said, we have a lot of overlapping skills, but we also have different skills, and a lot of like overlapping skills seem to come to mind first, where I can do one thing, and if I'm not around, say I'm doing a certain tractor, job, and I have to leave, I can just be like, hey Marissa, can you just finish this for me? Which is very nice to just not have to explain. It's kind of one of those like great partnerships where you kind of know what the other person's thinking. But I would say my strongest skill that I brought at the beginning was being able to like construct the greenhouse on the weekends, and she helped a bunch, but I had some background in building, so that was kind of like the strong suit that I brought to the farm at the beginning. And now it's, she's teaching me how to do computer work, which is great, I guess.
Who sends out the weekly newsletter?
I typically do, because that is her day off.
Okay.
But we'll switch back. Yeah, we'll do back and forth. Sometimes she'll be sailing, so I'll call her on the she'll be on the sailboat, and I'm like, so what are we putting in the share this week? And we'll talk through it, which is funny, and never thought I would ever do that, but yeah.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, at being a member of the Share, you get a weekly newsletter, and these guys do a really great job of like pumping up what's going to be in your Share, telling you about all the good food that you're going to get, and then you also include recipes for, especially when there's things in there that you wouldn't necessarily find at a grocery store. And you're like, what is this? Like, frisee, what do I do with this in the kitchen? And so, yeah, it's nice, but it's always cool to hear updates about what's going on in the farm.
I will also say that a lot of people just assume that we are a couple, and that absolutely a strength of our relationship is that we say goodbye to each other every day. And like, it's intense managing a whole crew of people and being able to absorb whatever comes your way, and just like having a friendship with each other, that, and then also having other important relationships in our lives, I think really makes our partnership a lot stronger.
It's a common assumption.
Yeah.
There's a lot of married farmers in here.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm curious, I've got a little bit of like a backstory on both of you, and sort of what brought you to Plattsburgh and what it's been like starting your farm. I know from what you've said and just from watching you work, like it's super grueling work every day in the summer, long days. The season lasts long. So I'm curious, like what is it about farming that gets you out of bed every morning? What is it that really fulfills you?
I get to ski all winter long.
Oh,
I'm kidding. No. Being outside. Yeah, I mean that's kind of part of it. Yeah. But being outside every day is amazing, and watching something grow. I'm sure a lot of people have kids here, but it's our child. This farm is our child, and we watch it grow every day. And the people that support us, that grows every day, and it's very rewarding, and also being able to eat the seeds you sow. It's amazing.
I will also say that like just going through something hard with a group of people is a very special kind of bond, and just like having a whole team at the farm and just getting through it, and you get to know each other so well because you really see people's true colors when they're like pushed in physical, emotional, and mental ways, and like having that bond with the people we spend every day with is pretty incredible. Also, like every day is a new adventure, it never gets old. I learned how to wire outlets last week. I never thought I would know how to do that as a kid, and just it's like every type of profession is all bundled into one in farming, so it keeps it pretty exciting, and it feels like there's an infinite amount to learn.
You talked about, Marissa, like the process that you go through with the people that you work with, and that it's grueling and it's hard, and then that really brings you together as a team. And when you started in your first summer, how many team members did you have?
We had 3 full-time people our first year. 2 of them are still with us.
Are they here tonight?
Brandon, I see Brandon.
Yeah.
You and Brandon! I don't know why they're still here, but it makes me incredibly happy. I mean, we're crawling around on our hands and knees planting onions by hand on a scale that should not be planted by hand.
And I think Brandon went skiing the next day. It was like May 2nd. Yeah. It's like, we need to keep this guy around. I like this guy.
Yeah. And so now you're going into your 3rd season, and how many staff do you have on your team?
I think we have 10.
Wow. What's that been like? What's it been like to go from 2 to 10 in 3 years, and how do you build your team? I'm curious, even just for anybody that's like trying to build a team together, that's trying to work towards a common goal, and there's like a lot of different things that need to happen every day. Like how are you building that, and what's it been like?
I would say that the team, like I feel like we really can't take, like everyone kind of found us almost. Like Brandon really found us a lot of people to work with us, which is amazing. And the fact of that makes me feel like we're doing something right and it's a good work environment, and maybe that was something that we didn't really think about. It was just who we were and what we believe in. And a lot of our employees always show up with a smile, and I'm like, man, we must be doing something right, because this is like not the, you know, it rained like every day last summer, and to have everyone coming back, it's like, okay, this feels good, you know, like we're doing meaningful work, and I think that's fulfilling for a lot of our employees and for us too. So yeah, thing to say.
Yeah, that's like, what can you say a little bit more about, like, what do you think keeps people coming back? Like, it's the meaningful work, but what's the atmosphere like that you build amongst your team? What are some of like your values when it comes to your team and how you work with them?
I mean, we definitely have fun and try not to take anything too seriously. Like, we love going to Harrigan's for ice cream. That's a great bonding experience. And also people just knowing that like we're never going to be mad as long as everyone is like showing up and trying their best. Mistakes happen and that's okay. And I think just like trying to have humility, like they've watched us struggle and make mistakes and try to overcome them and deal with a lot of adverse circumstances. So I think just the recognition and being transparent that like we're all just trying here, and that we can just have a good time doing it and support each other.
I like look around and I'm like, man, we're just like a bunch of kids running a business here. Like people come driving in, I'm like, man, it just kind of looks like Lord of the Flies out here. I swear we know what we're doing.
Give us your money. But they do. Deliver.
We keep it lighthearted.
Yeah.
We have a good time.
Can you tell us a little bit more about kind of your style of farming or your philosophy, like organic, or what's your, you know, how do you achieve that, or you know, why do you choose to grow the vegetables in the way that you do, and how do you do that?
Yeah, so we're actually working on being certified organic, which is run through the USDA, and some hoops and such to jump through for that. But we've always practiced organic. No pesticides, no fungicides that are, chemical based. We use OMRI approved, which is an organic standard, which we do use pesticides, but it's organic. It's made from pyrethrum and chrysanthemum, which flowers.
So you use flowers to,
I feel like something that is unique about us, or our farm, is that we started at such a big scale. Our first season we were growing about 20 acres, like 20 acres of vegetables with the 3 employees and the 2 of us, and just kind of
how do you make that happen?
Spending a lot of money on equipment, not enough money, but and time. But we kind of made the decision going into it with like 8 or 9 years of farming experience that in order to have longevity, you can't be crawling around and planting things by hand and using a hoe, and that we really want to feed people, and we want our product to be affordable, and we don't want our bodies to be incredibly broken, and we want to be able to do this for a long time. So that just mechanization is critical to that. Mechanization in like the organic vegetable world is still like a relatively new thing. Europe is decades ahead of North America. So kind of like the really big purchase that we made to make it all happen was a mechanical cultivator. So it's something that kills weeds. It's an attachment that goes on the tractor, and you actually sit and steer around the vegetables. And we imported that from Germany because they're good at those things. And that allowed us to basically kill all of the weeds on the farm, after hours when the crew wasn't there, since we only had one tractor that was typically tied up in other things during the day. And it was a huge help.
I wanted to sort of talk about, well, in a conversation we had about that first summer, and you coming from Hudson Valley, and like you started to scale really quickly. You started to produce a lot of vegetables, and you were telling me about kind of this unique situation that happened in Hudson Valley. And can you say more, kind of talk more about that story of how you ended up supplying food back there?
Yeah. So we had no intention to like being a regional farm when we moved up here. And some powers that, held gates closed for us. So we didn't get into any like main farmers markets, so we had to kind of scramble. And I think one day, I had to like go pick something up.
Get the tomato steaks.
Yeah, I had to go get tomato steaks from the Hudson Valley, and I was like, oh, we should kill a couple birds with one stone here. Like, we'll just text people that we know that had grocery stores and farm stands. And they were very excited and ordered a very large amount of vegetables. And we were both kind of like, oh, maybe we should keep doing this. And that was at the same time as a massive drought was hitting down there. So everyone was kind of in disarray with their crops. So we kind of fell into our laps, kind of. So. Yeah.
Was that helpful in the first year, starting to build those relationships?
Definitely. I mean, and we've grown and built more relationships upon those relationships, which is great. And this year we have even more from last year. But I will say the first year, we would harvest all day until 5. Everyone would go home, and then Marissa and I would wash everything we harvested. And we would stay until midnight, most of those nights.
And then we would drive, what's the years the Tilton last for, 1987?
It's a 93. Or 97, it's a 97.
No, it's
Yeah.
sort of late.
No.
Okay, anyway, still very old. And we drive a 25-year-old box truck down to the Hudson Valley after staying up till midnight washing everything, and with no AC, like no creature comforts, and somehow it never broke down. The only time it broke down was when we were bringing it home.
Yeah, when we first bought it.
Yeah.
It knew you had to make the journey.
Oh, to be young.
Yes.
I don't know if it was this summer or another, you shared a story about selling a lot of cabbages, like an obscene amount of cabbages, and like somebody cutting a cabbage open and talking about how incredibly perfect it was inside. Yeah, I want to know more about.
Yeah, small town cultures. Amazing company down the street from us now on Tom Miller Road. One of our employees actually worked there this winter. One of their managers cut into the cabbage that we sent, and I guess he had somewhat of an experience.
Spiritual experience.
Yeah, he had
Exceptional cell structure.
Yeah, he said exceptional cell structure. Whatever that, that is.
You should put that on a plaque and hang it up.
Yeah.
All right, so you're called North Point Community Farm. And I'm curious to know a little bit more about the name. Curious to know about why it's called North Point, but also specifically why it has community in the name, and what is it about your philosophy that involves the community? What have you done, and what do you hope to do with the community as a farm?
Yeah. I think we had been throwing around a few names, but North Point felt like the kind of, when we stumbled on that, we were like, oh, that one's it. It just feels good when you say it. It looks good. And I don't think community was in it at the beginning, but moving to Plattsburgh, this is somewhat of a satellite. We're up north from the Adirondacks, away from most, Albany and city centers. So we felt like we felt like we needed to create a community for ourselves. We weren't trying to create a community, It was like, we need to make friends, we need to make our business thrive, and we strive to become even more community centric. You know, little by little. Starting a business was like pretty intense. We had a lot of aspirations, and community is somewhat of a goal too. It's something that we are always striving towards, of more community-centric events, and yeah, kind of bringing more people around us to create, you know, a better farm.
Yeah, and I think that like our goal long term is to be like exclusively selling direct to consumer for people who live near our farm, and you know, everyone eats multiple times a day. It's a very intimate relationship to be growing someone's food, and a lot of people confuse our name and think that we're a co-op, and we are in fact a for-profit business, but like trying to balance how can we be aspiring to support ourselves and make a living and be profitable, but also be doing an important thing for the area that has 30,000 people and no other vegetable farms. And just the experience that I had not really growing up around agriculture or understanding what growing food looked like or meant, and being able to give people the opportunity to have that, and also get great food.
You were telling me a little bit about, you've already done some of that exposure. You want to talk a little bit about the work you did with students last summer and kind of what you have planned this summer?
So one of our first employees, Tony, his mother is a middle school teacher at Peru Central School, and she had a class of summer school students learning about, I think, nutrition and farming. And she was able to bring 2 groups to the farm for half a day just to harvest greenhouse tomatoes and see the fields and pick some flowers and just get to be on a farm and see what that's like.
And for this summer, we're hoping to do that again. We're also hosting a Twilight
meeting.
A Twilight meeting where farmers come from the Northeast. They'll come to our farm, and we will be demonstrating and also giving a farm tour. Not sure what we're demonstrating yet. It might be on cultivation or a wash barn. This is going to be in August, so we have some time. But yeah, so that's exciting, and yeah, just slowly having more events where people can come and learn and be a part of our community.
And for the Twilight meeting, Clinton County Cornell Cooperative Extension reached out to us to organize it. So it feels really cool that like a very recognized, established institution wants to bring other farmers to just like learn and have community. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Congrats. It's really cool. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, my experience with community on your farm is even just the way that you set it all up. Like when you come to the farm, like you have a really cool farm stand made out of an old freezer.
Walking cooler.
Walking cooler.
With wallpaper. There's wallpaper.
Yeah, it's like super cute.
Thanks to Marissa.
It looks good. There's like cute signs. It looks like this super welcoming, beautiful place. And then you've got this giant patch of flowers, and if you're a CSA member, you get to come and pick your own flowers. How many people here have done that before?
Gosh.
It's like the best.
It's a good time.
It's like the highlight. Yeah.
Picnic tables.
Yeah, you hang out.
Yes.
I've like been picking flowers with my kids in the field, and people come up from the road and they think I work there, and I'm very flattered by that. I'm like, I'm not tanned enough or strong enough. But they're like, oh my gosh, you get to just pick your own flowers, and you get to, you know, this food is beautiful. And I think even that is community. And at the pickup locations and at the farmers markets, like it's not just your staff, but you guys get to come and you meet and you talk with your members, and I feel like there's really that intimate relationship that I appreciate, and I think that that's so much community too. So you're already doing it. And I guess that kind of leads into like, so you've got this model of CSA. What does CSA as an acronym even mean, and like why Why is it important to be a CSA member? What benefit does that provide? Why couldn't I just go buy my vegetables at your farm stand during the summer, or just like pick them up at the farmer's market?
Well, CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and right now it is basically how our farm cash flow works, because we don't really make any money until July, and we have a lot to buy January through June. So it's pretty incredible to get people to sign up in the dead of winter and for their trust in us that there will indeed be an abundance of vegetables in the summer. And then in return, you get a really great deal on very fresh vegetables and lots of fun experiences.
Yeah, and also like we said, the pick your own flowers that comes with it. And also, just circling back, we talked about this at the beginning, but we also send out a newsletter every week with what's going on the farm and what you're going to get with recipes, which I think helps a lot, because when you get something and you don't know what it is, you choose, it's 7 things on the list, so you whittle it down, and then typically if we know it's like, okay, this is a kind of obscure vegetable, we always make a recipe for that, just so everyone's kind of covered.
Thanks.
I will also say that it's just like a lot of emotional momentum and just like to feel the positivity of everyone's excitement for vegetables when there's still snow on the ground. And that definitely like fuels us and our excitement and getting there, and really just makes it so much more worthwhile for everyone.
So when does the vegetables run? Like May through October, or what?
June through November. We go like mid-November is the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's 2 share sizes. Always more than enough vegetables. And you're changing your structure a little bit this year. You want to talk about kind of how that structure works?
So the first year we did something, and then we changed it the second year, and now we're changing it again. So hopefully, people can bear with us. But last year we just did, you get 7 items, you get what you get. So this year we're gonna have somewhat of a choice, and we did a survey and we heard everyone it's like, okay, everyone wants somewhat of a choice here. Life's about choices. But so we decided to have 2 share sizes this year. There's 5 items and 7 items. We have a small share and a regular share. And we will be bringing 9 items per week. So that if someone's like, I really want 2 bunches of carrots in my small share. I mean, if you want 7 bunches of carrots, have at it. But so more of a, we're trying to get it. So if, we understand some people just like what they like carrots. Yeah. We understand people like what they like, and a lot of people don't like to waste, which we love to see. So we get it. And so that was kind of our idea with the choice.
I will also say that we're always trying to figure out what people do like, and it's so hard to really know. So letting people choose, I feel like very quickly we're going to be like, okay, this is what's popular, this is what everyone wants. So it'll inherently be a weekly survey on what everyone wants. So I think it'll just get better and better seeing that.
So becoming a member is obviously a really great way to support the farm. And what are other really great ways for people in our community to support what you're doing?
To just tell your friends that we exist and we're here and we're growing vegetables and excited about it. We love new people coming to the farm stand. You don't have to be a member to pick flowers. You just have to pay to pick flowers if you're not a member. We really just want people to know about us and to get the word out there about vegetables.
And you guys were saying word of mouth and referrals from people who are already members is kind of the #1 way that people get connected to you. So share with your friends, share with your community, talk it up, because those go a long way.
Yeah, we're still working on the advertisement thing, but we'll get better at that.
Okay.
Get a couple flyers here and there, but yeah, word of mouth.
So same thing. If you miss out on getting a share, Is
Still
it too
can.
It's never too late.
or you can
We'll
also,
take your money whenever.
But also, do you like have a farm stand or not?
Yep, we got a farm stand. So there are some people that we've talked to, and they're like, we're just not going to sign up. It's too much food for just me. And that's why we have a farm stand, so those people can still be involved. And yeah.
Can you talk about Levi a little?
We got the farm dog. He's the greeter.
Who is Levi?
The brown dog that'll greet you whenever you pull up into the farm. He's always wagging.
What's his role? How does he play a part?
He's the boss.
Woodchuck exterminator.
Exactly.
Yes, he does a great job
Yeah,
with
he's a
that.
chuck.
And, heavy emotional support. If you're having a bad time, he's always just there ready to get some pets and eat some carrots and make you feel better.
All right, so I think we're starting to come to a close. We're going to end things off, but we will give folks in the audience some time to answer any questions. But I thought we'd end things off today with a rapid fire question round.
Oh, good.
Love that.
Let's learn a little bit more about Mike and Marissa.
Yeah.
All right, so you can each answer these on your own. Start with Mike.
5-second rule?
Yeah,
Okay.
don't take too long.
You're starting with me?
Favorite vegetable?
Brussels sprouts.
Radicchio. Radicchio. All right, least favorite vegetable?
I was going to say collard greens, but I'm the one who wanted to grow them.
To pick, peas. I hate picking peas.
Least favorite stick. What about to eat? Where you don't discriminate.
He loves vegetables.
I love it.
If your business partner was a vegetable, which one would they be?
Oh my god.
Bok choy.
I think Marissa would be broccoli.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Why?
me.
Why?
Hair.
Well, yeah, the hair, and it's, man, I'm really getting into the weeds here. Broccoli is, a flower that has not bloomed yet. She's someone who is, on the outside, she can be very, quiet, but once you get to know her, she's very, lovely flower.
I feel like maybe fresh onions.
Nice and stinky.
Yeah, long lasting.
All right. You have to
You got a
answer.
lot of layers, yeah, exactly.
You have to answer these ones at the same time. Who gets dirtier on the farm?
Oh, me.
Who gets more tanned on the farm?
Mike.
I do.
Like, yeah.
French Canadian.
What do you think is the vegetable most loved by all of your members?
Oh.
You're talking about kind of favorites and people choosing.
Carrots.
Carrots?
Yeah. Carrots or broccolini, probably, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's obsessed with broccolini.
What do you think the most misunderstood vegetable is?
Fennel?
Fennel.
Fennel.
Or radicchio.
Yeah.
Why?
It's gotta be lemon dressing. The bitter just goes away.
Wow.
So you got to check the newsletter
And
for the
salt.
recipes. Nice. What's your favorite activity when it's off season?
Snowboarding.
Nice.
Chief skier.
What's your beverage of choice after a long, hard day on the farm?
Oh, you go first. I gotta think about this one.
I really like it has to be when I get home, not still at the farm, but definitely a Negroni drinker in the summer. Yeah.
I like old fashions.
All right.
But at the farm, Miller Lite. So I can drive home.
What's your favorite thing to do at North Point Community Farm? Out of everything that you do. There's many things.
The little moments where I can relax is very nice in the summer. It's a very beautiful property and quiet once you get back there. But yeah.
So similarly, like a quiet moment, but just like on a Saturday at the farm by myself, disking a huge field, and then the seagulls just come out of nowhere and are just following you as you make circles, like picking the worms and the bugs, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Do you guys have like a least favorite thing?
Picking peas.
You learned this.
Picking eggplant? Like everyone, I feel like Mike is one of the few people not allergic to, the eggplant leaves are terrible, even if you're not allergic to eggplant.
They're poisonous.
Yeah. I will also say that washing vegetables is like probably the most important job on the farm, and also can easily become the least favorite.
All right, it's 10 years from now. What's the farm like?
Battery powered everything. Because diesel is expensive. No, I think it's just more community events and also being better growers and learning our climate as it's changing, and also our land.
More fun things on the farm, like farm sauna would be awesome.
Is that available?
That's a tool. That's not even fun. That's a tool right there.
You have to work at the farm to access.
Yeah, just like more free time to enjoy what we're doing, not working 80 hours a week in the summer, so we can enjoy the summer and have time to prepare all the food that we're growing.
And then this is my final question. Can you describe North Point Community Farm in one word?
Chaotic.
Same?
Yeah.
Wow, nice. All right. Can we give Mike and Marissa some love?
Thank you.
All right, let's turn it over. Look at the crowd. This is amazing. This is so good. Thank you everybody for showing up. Any questions? Burning questions from the audience? Mark?
So what focused activities do you do to maintain soil health?
Oh, nice.
Cover cropping is very important. We are lucky that there's like a conservation grant that we get through Soil and Water, so we get paid per acre of cover crop we rent, but that like adds organic matter to the soil and also rests things and is great for pollinators and compaction and weed control and really everything.
So you leave something foul? Is that, I mean,
The cover cropping is planting something that is not meant to harvest. So it could be like oats and peas, and they grow 4 feet tall, and then you mow them and mix them in. And they're not grown for harvest, but for other benefits.
It's like vacation for the land. Just vegging out.
They put nutrients back though too though. Some of the
Yeah.
cover crops put nutrients back that the plants
Yeah.
are growing.
And that's like,
Take away,
Yeah.
they put it back. So
Yeah, like
that's,
peas fix nitrogen, so they'll take nitrogen out of the air and put it into the soil, and
Right.
nitrogen is the main nutrient that vegetables need to grow.
I think over here, yeah.
How many varieties do you grow? How many subscribers do you have? And where is the farm?
all great questions. Varieties?
Probably over 100, easily. Probably like 30 different crops, but there's some crops that we grow like 10 different varieties of.
And this is on 20 acres?
This is 30 now.
30 acres.
Maybe 40 this year. Who knows? Depends on how much space we use. As of today, I think we have 146 or 147, which I used to know everyone's name, and now this year we're getting more. And I'm gonna have to.
And the farm is about 15 minutes from here on Military Turnpike, just north of 374, the corner with Pellerin Road.
Okay.
What's the most unusual thing you get on CSAs? Anything really different?
Fava beans.
Nice!
Yes.
Yeah, Matt. I think.
Yeah.
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 So
So Anne actually said something really profound to me a couple years ago. She said in a lot of, when farming, you know, we view it as having and creating a lot of life, when in reality there's a lot of death. And you guys are so invested in farm to table and feeding these mouths, right? And so I'm wondering what it's like to watch also death in your everyday, and how you reckon that.
I mean, I would consider death oh man, we didn't get to that crop, now we have to plow it in. Because when we're harvesting the crop, it still has so much nutrients involved in it. But when you don't get to harvest something and it's gone bad, that's like, that is death.
Also, all weed control is very intentional death of just like, you are the one we want to live, everything else needs to be gone. But I mean, I think like in the farming community, vegetable farmers deal with death in such a less emotional way. I think we just see it all as part of it and are just happy that things don't have beating hearts or blood.
I saw some more hands.
Go ahead.
During the summer, as you harvest, do you ever find that you have more than is being, and what are your options for dealing with extra?
It really depends on the crop. Like, there are some things we call it holding, if it can just hang out in the field and we just harvest it when we want it. Other things need to be, everything that's ready needs to be harvested, like tomatoes. Yeah, we sometimes compost a lot of stuff or have nights of just like, let's freeze all this or give it away. But we have enough different avenues that are all staggered. We have like CSA, farmers market, and 3 wholesale runs a week, and the farm store, that we're able to usually find most things at home.
And typically, as we, and this is why we do surveys, but as the years go on, we see less and less waste. And I think one of our goals this year is to actually if we do, hopefully we don't have any excess because, but if we do, it would be great to donate, work with JCEO. Or any organization of that matter.
I remember one time you wrote about raccoons or something like crazy that was happening. It was so, I had so much curiosity about it. So what happens like when varmints and stuff come into the fields? What do you guys do? Or what happens?
If Levi can't do it, there's a gentleman sitting right in front of me named Jeff Cochran, and he is a wizard with a fence. He builds fences like I've never seen. But I mean, yeah, like fences and also planting things in certain places. You know, you don't want to plant corn right next to the woods. That's where all the raccoons live. You know, all the critters live in the woods. They come out at night and have a party in your corn.
Also, sometimes you just lose and the animals eat it, and that's okay. And that's why we're a diversified farm. We plant a lot of different things a lot of different times, anticipating that there will be loss and it will be okay.
Mouths will still be fed.
Yes.
Yes. Raccoon mouth.
Little
Were there a question? Yeah.
Coming up here, what's the biggest surprise you found as a difficulty in terms of the actual growing conditions compared to what you were doing before?
I think just a later spring than we're used to. I think all of our friends are definitely already have a lot of plants in the ground in the Hudson Valley. They had a very, very warm winter. Later spring and earlier fall up here, which I think that realistically we're okay with.
Yeah, I think also, I mean, this isn't like growing conditions, but just like access to markets. We don't really want to be driving down to the Hudson Valley twice a week, but we are growing at a volume that we need to be able to do to sustain ourselves financially, and we can't find outlets here to move all of that.
You guys talked about, finding each other and starting a conversation with others about starting a farm. I'm just curious. I feel like not everyone's predisposed to like that thinking, and that like I want to do something on my own. Like a lot of people are like, hey, I want to work for this company. Like I'm fine, you know, being a cog in that machine. I'm curious about like, and I don't, no judgment here. I think either's good, but I'm curious about like, why did you want to start your own thing?
Well, I personally had kind of gotten to a place where it was either stop farming or start a farm. I think I worked on 6 different farms, and it just never, it was great. I learned a lot, but it felt like I hit a ceiling. There's like a weird dynamic where either the job is too low paid or it's very highly paid, and it's like a weird donor farm dynamic that just never really works out, of people having romantic visions of farms and bankrolling it and hiring you, and I wasn't really interested in that. And I think, you know, it's like farming is creating things and systems, and that felt really exciting to me.
I mean, I graduated college and I knew right away, I was like, I want to do something different. And I found farming, and immediately was like, oh man, to have your own place is like the greatest accomplishment, because you can make it whatever you want every year, and that seemed very attractive to me. And you know, being your own boss has its pluses and minuses, but you know, the pluses outweigh the minuses.
Like you've started 2 of the farms for other people.
Oh yeah. So what she was touching on with the donor farm, I also started 2 other farms for landowners down in the Hudson Valley, and you know, one of them ended very poorly, and the other was cordial. But at the end of the day, you want to do what you want to do, and you know, everyone has their opinion, and you know, so yeah, that was a big driving point for me.
Maybe I missed this at the beginning, but so do neither of you have like much formal training, or is it mostly OJT over years?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely big OJT. Especially when we moved up here, it was like, wow, you know, immediately like, and Bruce helped us so much, but just, you know, getting into a dairy barn and we're like, well, okay, there's like no power in here, there's no running water, and you just learn on the fly.
And most of the people who we worked for like went through the same things that we're going through, and so we're lucky to have a lot of mentors who we could just call and just be like, I can't figure this out, what do you think? And that's very, very helpful.
How do you sign up, and like you have a website or Facebook, or what's the best way to reach out to you guys?
Our website, northpointcommunityfarm.com. There's a CSA tab that has all the info and a link to sign up.
Are you taking any emails out?
We should. I almost made a QR code for this. I'm like, here's.
But I think we could also, we send out monthly newsletters to advertise what's coming up for Vinspire,
We
and
can put
so
your QR code
we
on
can
that.
we can definitely connect everybody to the farm that way. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think Dina, you had a question.
So, because we're drawing to a close here, but one of the things I heard you say earlier, Marissa, was, you know, we're glad people in this community love vegetables. I hope you know it's a lot more about our love of vegetables. We love you all. We love what you're doing. We love the whole shop local. We like to know where our food comes from, that it's healthy, that we have choices, and it's just like you're contributing to so much of what goes on in this community. And as I think about that, I'm just wondering if you had to say a value or a couple values for your company, what would you say those are? And again, thank you so much for being here today.
I feel like transparency is one. Like, we really try, like Mike and I do not have a filter with each other, and we try to have like as limited of a filter as possible with everyone who works on the farm and all of our customers. Do you have another one?
I mean, yeah,
No filter.
Yeah, I mean, it's serious. Like, people come up to us at farmers market and they ask us, and I will never sugarcoat anything. I'll tell someone anything they want to know about the farm, and yeah, just creating. And also another value would just be creating a healthy work environment in general. So if someone is hurt, or if someone feels sick, or if someone, you know, is just like needs an afternoon off, that is like something that we like really try to do for our employees.
So can I add to that?
Sure.
So whenever I get a question about North Point Community Fund, I said, all you got to do is go meet Mike and Marissa, and that's all you need to do. And that's the rest. This all kind of fits right together. I said, that's it. Just go meet Mike and Marissa, and you're hooked. You're in.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel like to echo that, like you're just this puzzle piece that's fit so beautifully into our community, and we so appreciate what you're doing, and there's just so much love and support for you in this room and in the wider community, and you have so many people rooting for you. Rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
We'll end it on that. If you want to ask Mike and Marissa more questions, please feel free. I'm sure they're going to hang out after this. And Steph's going to come up and tell you a little bit about what's happening next month. Thank you all.
On behalf of everyone at Vinspire, we are like so thankful to everyone here, and Mike and Marissa, amazing. Clearly, this is the largest crowd that we have had for Vinspire, so hats off to you guys. I look forward to signing up, so thank you for all the information. Hopefully this is just your first of many Vinspire outings with us. We generally are on the first Thursday of the month. This month was a little bit different with spring break, and that's but next month in May, so it'll be May 2nd, we usually are from 5:30 to 7, always here. Next month is going to be The Power of No, and that is hosted by Erin Stewart. She is the Director of Psychology at CDPH, and I've heard wonderful, wonderful things about her. So
powerful speaker.
Yeah, you know her, Dina. Yes. Or Dana. So yeah, we hope to see you there. And then in June, that will be June 6th, again at 5:30. That will be with the
6 o'clock. 6 to 7:30 is our usual time.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, we're different
Okay.
this time. 6 to 7.
Okay, so typically 6 to 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So Erin in May, and then in June, the Derricks, if you know Mike and Kathy Derrick, they huge like hikers, just campers. They just do bikers, amazing trekking across the country. But they will be sharing some of their experiences. I think it's called Walking with the Derricks. Then, so we hope you can join us then as well. And again, thank you very much.
If you want to join the mailing list, Sally is taking emails, and we have a mailing that goes out each month, tells you what's going on the next few months, and we have, like, this is videotaped. It will be on the email, so you can share it with friends. And we have a Facebook, Vinspire, Inspiring and Informing the North Country is our Facebook, and our Instagram is something along those lines.
We typically take the summer off. I think that's still the plan, but then after June, we'll start up again in September, I think is the plan. And we have a few folks in the audience that are probably going to be speaking. So
absolutely.
We really do. We hope you will continue to join us for future events. Thank you so much for coming.